Welcome to Telewizja Republika, home of the free speech. We are in Romania, in Cluj, after the gathering of the leaders of European conservatives and reformists, and we are here together with Mr. George Simion, leader of AUR political party in Romania. Welcome to Telewizja Republika.
Thank you, Michał, for being here. Greetings to all our Polish friends.
George Simion is a leader in the presidential race in Romania, the election cycle that focuses attention of the whole political world. So let's start with the situation right now. Last time we talked, somebody else was the leading candidate. He was banned after the first attempt of running election here, and then he was arrested, as we saw live on TV, and then he was banned from election process again. What happened here? What is going on here in a democratic state which is a part of the European Union?
Hey, so-called democratic state. Like I told you when I was in Warsaw, we are ongoing coup d'etat, and we are hoping to escape this dictatorship that was installed on the 6th of December, when we had a huge blow to democracy. And this is the reason I'm now an official candidate, and I am leading in the polls, because the Romanian people do not want to live in a dictatorship, and it's not normal in a democracy to annul elections and to ban candidates that are not restricted by a judge after a fair trial to be candidates. So Mr. Georgescu was banned, indeed, at the end of March, continuing the coup d'etat. And now there were huge pressures to even ban me from being a candidate. We only had 48 hours to raise the signatures, and there were quite a lot of signatures needed, 200,000 signatures to be a candidate. It's double amount that you have in Poland for the presidential race. There was a huge phenomenon. People were standing up in lines to sign up for supporting me. Mr. Georgescu is also supporting me, because I'm the only one who didn't validate undemocratic act that happened.
I don't know if you heard that. You are interested in the things that are going on the Polish political scene. We are going to have election on precisely the same day that you are going to have election here. But last week, the former, actually the man who is one of the aides of the president of Poland, Andrzej Duda, and who used to be one of the ministers and aides to the Polish minister of Interior during the conservative government PIS coalition, he said that as we speak, Polish Internal Security Agency, ABW, contacted the security services here in Romania to find out what were the arguments that were used against Mr. Georgescu to ban him from election, and what arguments were used here to convince the Supreme Court to change the ballots in your country. What's your comment on that?
I already told you and to the Polish people that what is happening in Romania is just the first episode of the unelected elites in Brussels that are trying to take over the power in all 27 European states. We were testing polygon for them, and they will try to do this again. Yes, we have elections in the same day. Actually, I repeated over and over that Poland and Romania have the same past and the same present. So we are facing the same threats towards democracy. And make no mistake that when Karol Nawrocki is in the second round and will win the presidential elections, they will try to do the same that happened here in Romania. They don't want the Trump wave, the MAGA wave, to come to Europe. And this is decisive, because Poland and Romania can assure peace, stability, and NATO in the future Me as candidate for the Romanian people and Karol Nawrocki for the Polish people, we can support the policies of Donald Trump. But now I see also the counter candidate is also turning himself into a conservative figure.
The counter-candidate in Romania, your counter-candidate?
Is the mayor of Bucharest.
Because we have a very similar situation in Poland. We have a mayor of Warsaw, a liberal globalist former deputy minister and minister of governments of Donald Tusk, a former member of parliament, who claims to be a sovereignist in a way, while all his political past shows him as a pro-LGBT, liberal left politician. Do you have the same situation here in Romania with your counter-candidates who are denying their past?
My main counter-candidate will be the mayor of Bucharest, actually. So I'm telling you, we have the same past and the same situation. Of course, I remember the mayor of Warsaw being a sovereignist from the meetings he had with Alexander Soros. And of course, I remember the LGBT parades in the center of Warsaw. This is a sign of sovereignty and conservatism. From how I know the Polish people, they are not at all dumb, and they will not fall into this trap. It's clear that they don't have public and popular support, and they are painting themselves as sovereignists.
So what is the reason for this? Because you mentioned, in a way, what happened in the United States. I will follow up with the question regarding USA. But what is the reason for which in states like Romania, Poland, in many other states, we see this kind of framing the liberal left globalist politicians as a sovereignist? What is the reason for them doing this?
They don't have any more popular support. And in a democracy, if we are still allowed to have free elections, you need to have popular support, you need the votes. So everybody is seeing that the wave from the states that is on social networks after they try to censor content, conservative sovereignist content, and this is not working anymore with all their fact checkers, all their globalist mainstream media. The people are not listening to this propaganda anymore, so they are trying to paint themselves as conservatives. This will not work. I have been over 20 times to Poland, from Poznan to Katowice to Krakow, and the people in Poland are smart and they will go to vote. It's enough to see how Donald Tusk, when he was in opposition, he claimed to respect the rule of law, and now he is instrumentalizing the judicial system against political opponents. You cannot do this. I saw one of your MP being arrested. I see Patrick Jaki being accused because he gave some likes on X, being part of a penal trial. I see Mateusz Morawiecki going to the prosecutor's office because he had a proposal of voting in 2020 through mail. This is crazy. You cannot do this in a democracy. And I'm telling Donald Tusk, who had a post on X about me, that I never met in my life with Vladimir Putin. And since I was a kid, I was fighting the ideology of Mr. Putin. But Donald Tusk met several times and supported Vladimir Putin.
You are mentioning one of the biggest hoaxes in the world politics that we see in the process. We do have, you mentioned Polish Prime Minister, who was one of the authors of the reset policy between Poland and Russia, with all the tragic history of Poland being attacked and destroyed by Russia many times in 300 years of our history. Yet he, as a politician right now, claims to be a leader of an anti-Russian movement. In the same time, we are seeing framing Donald Trump as a pro-Russian politician who was actually placing American troops on the NATO eastern flank, which we benefit from here in Central Europe, against the ideas of Russia. You are being framed in the same manner by Donald Tusk, and PiS party, the party which were created by Lech Kaczynski, who died in a catastrophe that we believe to be just an attack and assassination by the Russian services. This political party is also being framed by the authors of reset policies as pro-Russian. What do you make of it?
There is nothing they wouldn't do, and I'm talking about crimes, assassinations, smearing, and using any method in their playbook to clinch to power. So to call the president of the most important country in the world a Russian agent is simply hilarious. It's important that Romania and Poland stick together. We are the fifth and the sixth biggest countries inside the European Union. We represent the new Europe that was admitted to the European Union and to NATO, and we must fight for democracy, because we see in the Western world that democracy, freedom of speech, and the freedom to choose however you want, are being attacked. This is why we must remain and we must support NATO and not the idea of a European army. Globalists will lie, globalists will do anything in order to maintain their jobs, in order to maintain the Soros funds, the USAID funds, and the big amounts of money that they used in order to make propaganda. But this propaganda wanted to cancel the national states. They wanted to cancel our way of living, and we cannot admit it. We cannot admit it in the United States, we cannot admit it in Western Europe, and we cannot admit it here in Eastern Europe, where we faced the Soviet evil, where we faced the Russian occupation, where we faced the Marxist ideology. So to all of these people across the world, in the free world, in America, in London and Paris, and in Bucharest, in Warsaw, are saying stop. Stop the transhumanism, stop the woke ideology, stop dictators.
Let's think about the future. Possibly you could be, next time we talk in 1 or 2 months' time or 3 months' time, you could be the president of Romania. If that happens, what would be your stance on the idea of European Union states that are trying to push America out of Europe in terms of presence of American troops? We are having American troops securing our eastern border in Poland. You do have, as in Poland, very important base, missile defense base. What is your take on presence of US troops on NATO eastern flank in Romania?
The US troops are the only security guarantee that can protect Romania, Poland, and the Baltic states. We need NATO. We don't want to take part of a crazy imaginary project like rearm Europe and the European Union that has an army. We have security through NATO, and we are supporting NATO troops in a defensive alliance. NATO is a defensive alliance, and we must keep it, and we must hope and pray for Donald Trump's peace plan, and that it will come with new security guarantees, because we were a country occupied by Russia. You were a country that stopped existing as a state because of Hitler and Stalin. We are in danger if the American troops leave. This is why I am glad that Romania and Poland were serious partners in NATO who allocated enough money for the military services. You are one of the biggest, the largest army in Europe, and we must continue with our partnership and with regional security, Poland, Romania, Turkey.
You mentioned the idea of another NATO BIS, as we call it in Poland, smallest NATO, NATO without US as a political and geopolitical entity. In one of his latest interviews, Manfred Weber, who is a leader of European People's Party, claimed that in the future, European army should be ruled by a chief of staff, European chief of staff, who will be the commander-in-chief for the national armies of European Union. Would you agree, as a president of Romania, for Romanian troops to be directly commanded by the European chief of staff, as Manfred Weber said?
I'm sorry, but this is not what we signed up for. The European Union is a project that mainly concerns economical cooperation. For military cooperation, we have NATO. We didn't sign up for a European army, and you cannot change treaties as you want without asking people. We didn't sign up for cultural Marxism, for being imposed what we can or cannot teach our children in school. We cannot sign up for allowing 70 types of genders for the education of our children. We, the Polish people and the Romanian people, are socially conservatives. So we want to maintain the original idea of the European Union. Me, as a president of Romania, will keep the European Union as it is, as a common economic space, without having second-class citizens, without having rulers, countries that order and countries that execute the orders. We must be equal partners inside the European Union, and for the military, we want to invest in our production of weapons. Here in Romania, we have quite an important industry. We want military defensive bases.
If we talk about the same idea that was presented in the European Parliament weeks ago, and when we come back to the same interview, Manfred Weber also said that in the future, European Union member states will be obliged to buy its weapons in one single or common contract process with all other European Union member states, and most of those arms should be bought in European Union industries. Would you agree on that? We have lots of, as you here in Romania, lots of American weapon systems, modern American weapon systems. We would not be allowed to buy it anymore if that kind of thing
I'm sorry for laughing, but when I hear about contracts that are negotiated at European level, I cannot forget about the contracts of mRNA vaccines. We were obliged to buy 100 million doses of COVID vaccines, even if we are about 20 million citizens.
But you know, Ursula von der Leyen is a former defense minister of Germany, so she's got some knowledge about the way that
the way we should negotiate these contracts. I'm a member of the Romanian Parliament, but I never saw corruption as big in the Romanian Parliament as in the European Parliament. So I'm sorry to say it, but yes, we can coordinate the efforts of the European countries inside NATO. Manfred Weber, Ursula von der Leyen, the husband of Ursula von der Leyen, the brother of Ursula von der Leyen, cannot dictate what we should buy for our armies, because the European Union is simply not a military alliance. We will work together with Poland, with Hungary, with Slovakia, with Italy, with other countries, to have a majority in the European institutions, to defund European institutions that want to take the contracts and take our national sovereignty and break our national constitution and break our electoral process, and who are trying to dominate our judicial system. And we will give the sovereignty back to the national states, because we have an experience with empires. We don't want masters. We had masters, we had emperors. They come, they conquered, and all empires disappeared. We want to be free nations under God, to cooperate with our allies, but not to be dictated, not to be imposed, and especially not to be robbed of our money, of our resources.
And of sovereignty in a way. My two final questions. One is a question of cooperation between states of Europe, states like Romania, like Poland, with our American partners. Because it seems that at least part of the Euro oligarchs try to frame United States as a number one competitor or even number one enemy. I've heard that by members of European Parliament from Poland, who claim that Platform X is executing a technological aggression of United States against Europe. What are your views on the cooperation between Poland and United States if you were president of Romania in the following months?
I can only joke, because they imposed censorship on Meta, Facebook, Instagram. They imposed censorship on YouTube. We all know it. We have this experience, and we feel that the freedom of speech is under attack. We all loved here in Romania the speech of J.D. Vance at the Munich Security Conference, then repeated at CPEC, where TV Republika was present. But the globalist media are saying that America attacks Romania by speaking about free elections, by speaking that it's not normal in a democracy to annul elections. So the truth will come out. It's like water and oil. You cannot mix truth with lies. This is what they are trying to do. The future belongs to patriots. And I think the Polish and the Romanian people will be strong allies of the Trump administration after our presidential race that is happening in the same day.
Coming back to the presidential election in Romania, at the end of this interview, looks like you are going to be, you are a leader of the polls right now, looks like you are going to be in the second round of this election. Where are the votes that you can try to gain? What are the voters that you will try to attract when you will head up with your opponent in the second round of this election? What kind of voters and what kind of people are you trying to convince that they should vote for George Simion?
We are confident that we will have a huge turnout in the first round, and hopefully we will close any discussions right after the first round. You can imagine there was a shock in the Romanian society with the annulled elections. So we have already a majority that are supporting my candidacy, especially that other candidates, other sovereignist candidates withdrew their candidacy in order to support me. So we don't have emotions and we are not afraid. We are a Christian country. God's will be implemented. The only thing we want is to have free and fair elections, to let the Romanian people decide. This is why it's important to have international observers here across Romania and across Poland. And we will keep an eye and we will send observers also to your elections because it's important. We cannot do it alone. The unity makes the strength. So my project is inspired by the interbellic project Intermarium of Marshal Piłsudski. We should stand together. United we stand, divided we fall.
As a linchpin of the Western civilization here in a triangle between Adriatic, Baltic, and the Black Sea. George Simion, leader of AUR, here from Romania, from the ECR conference meeting of the leaders of European conservatives and reformers, and leader of the polling ahead of presidential election in Romania. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, TV Republika. Thank you to all Polish people.
This is Telewizja Republika. This is a home of the free speech.